Okay, good morning. Let's do this and let's get our hair out of the way so we don't have distractions of hair falling into our face. There are always distractions in life, right? Trucks driving by, cars going by. So we try and push those distractions away. Let me get this morning. So practice today. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, it's a warm one. So we're going to address some cooling. So we'll start with a cooling breath, and then we'll do some seated stretches, kind of opening up our neck and shoulders, moving down the body from top to bottom. We'll have a vigorous little part that will include downward dog with core work, and always have options for you. So whether you're mending a shoulder, a hip, a knee, a back, any of the poses that I offer can be amended or just skipped. So this is your practice, this is your time. Thank you for carving it out of your day. So we'll begin seated, and before I sit down, I just want to show you this cooling breath is like sucking in on a straw and then breathing out through the nose. So that's the cooling breath, and that will be how we kind of move into our samastiti, our centering time. So come on over to your mat. You say I have a couple of blocks. You may or may not need them. Same thing with straps, blankets, towels, pillows, all those things. Sometimes I know we need things, but today we're going to kind of flow between a little more gentle and cooling. Okay. So sit in a fashion comfortable for you. I am pleased to say I can sit Sukhasana without my knee yelling at me. This is a good thing. For so many weeks I've been sitting with one leg extended. So you get to be you and accommodate for anything that's going on. You can even use a chair for this beginning part. Make sure you're sitting properly, whether in a chair or on your mat, where maybe you have the fleshy part of your skin lifted away, a presence of your pelvis, the working of the Mula Bandha as it grounds you and supports you, the lower belly drawing in, the spine lifting, the neck and shoulders relaxed, and then reaching through the crown of the head. You can use that mudra gesture with your fingers if your spine feels strong enough to support you without pain or discomfort, or you can kind of cradle your back by holding on by the knees. So this cooling breath, it's sucking in through a straw and blowing out through the nose. Now, if you're congested, you can blow out through your mouth. So and then pause and sit with that breath. Do you feel the cooling sensation in your mouth? Did the focusing on your breath draw you into the moment and away from being that scattered brain person? Setting your intentions to be mindful, attentive, forgiving. Allow the spine to really support you so that you can reach your arms to the sides of your space. And then raising the arms in a position of your comfort, lifting the arms, lifting your heart, lifting your spirit, joining the palms together and with hands at heart, cultivating the attitude of gratitude. Things come into our life, things go out of our life, sometimes not to our preferences. So learning to accept and appreciate. And then I'm going to rub my hands to create a little bit of energy. So I'm going to do a little pulling or a little manipulating on my upper traps and my neck. So as I'm rubbing my hands, I'll maybe let my head tip from side to side. Maybe you notice how things are feeling. Maintain the bandhas, maintain your lifted spine. Maybe nod the chin, lift the head a few times. How'd you sleep last night? So now I'm going to take the opposite hand to the opposite shoulder and kind of press down as I let my head fall away. Not letting your chin fall forward, keeping your face outward. Slowly returning the body up, moving the opposite hand to the opposite shoulder, let it pull it downward and let your head fall the other way. Returning center. Now taking the opposite hand, so let's just say as we're facing each other, I take my left hand, place it with fingertips on the right side. As I pull down, now use your same hand on shoulder and feel that you're creating space along the right side. Turning your chin down toward the armpit of the hand on your head, gently pull down, move the right hand behind your back, bow your head. Return both hands to your legs and your chin to your chest. And slowly right yourself to the beginning. So now you can use what might be your right hand going over to the left side of the temple of the head, and the left hand going to your back, and then gently moving the right ear toward the right shoulder, or same ear toward the same shoulder if you'd rather. Feel the heaviness like when we pulled the shoulder down with your hand hanging behind you. Soft jaw, easy breath. So now as I move that chin toward the shoulder of the hand on my head and release my arm down. Bringing both hands to my legs, moving my chin into my chest, pausing, lifting my spine until my head sits atop my spine, moving the shoulders in a circle. Doesn't matter which way, I'll say reverse in a minute. So you can let your arms hang by your sides if you'd rather, doesn't matter. Okay, change the direction of the way you were going. And now lean back on your hands. If you have your legs crossed, go ahead and cross the other leg in front. If you're in a chair, make sure you're sitting out at the end and you can lean back. If you don't like your legs crossed, have them extended. So this one is a string on your heart, and you lift up that chest, letting the shoulders draw back, and then draw the shoulders forward. So in these first few moves, we're assessing how does our body feel today? If there are some cranky positions, does moving help it or make it worse? We don't want to make things worse. Sometimes moving the body gently and bringing lubrication and energy can improve things, but not always, so we're finding out. And then leaving the chest up, walk yourself center, and then the hands one to each side, fingertips touching. Using the left hand to support you, right hand is just going to wave and you're going to lean from side to side. We haven't done this for a while. Same arm repeats. Same arm repeats. Keeping that arm as straight as possible. So again, finding out how is your spine, because when you lean, it might do a little pull in your low back. This time when I circle my arm in front to bring it around, I will leave the right arm or your other arm on that side and then release the left arm and do the waving. So depending on how much you know about your body from, say, images that have been taken, x-rays, MRIs and stuff, you may already know there's an issue on one side. But even with that awareness or without it, you should always be mindful when you're doing your practice on how each side feels to you, because we do have those dominant sides and we want to aim for a bit of balance, circling the arm around in front. Sitting with your feet down in front and your knees together and leaning back comfortably on your hands, letting your knees fall from side to side. If you don't like the blanket or the pillow, you can pull it out from under you. Dropping the knees as it's comfortable for your back. You may not want to go very fast, so take the time needed. And Bandha Konasana, so the cobbler's pose, the bottom of the feet together. I'm leaning back and you see how much openness that provides. When I'm sitting upward, the knees tend to gravitate upward. They just get tight through here. So lean back on your hands and relax your legs. Really let them be passive without sinking into your shoulders, keeping the heart lifted. So as we move to sit upright, using those hands to either move the buns away, as I did earlier, and then shifting the hands onto your ankles or your shin so you're lifted nice and tall in a neutral position. I often turn sideways, as I will now, to demonstrate that I'm not this person. I've become this person. So I have that natural curve to my spine, supported with the bandhas, and I'll just lean forward and back. So a little forward and a little back. So check in with your breathing, and if today you'd like to do the cooling breath when I remind you to breathe, you could be like doing a second of the straw. This time as you hinge forward, pause, bow the head. Now because we opened a little bit in our upper traps, you may fold further forward, or maybe there's some restrictions, so just check it out as you bow forward. Mindful to your breath, rolling up your spine, ever so mindfully, stacking the vertebra and lifting tall. Once again, use your hands to support, extend both legs out in front, and we're going to pull the feet back and forth. So back and forth. You don't necessarily have to point. You can just press the ball of the feet forward. Bringing a little energy into our lower limbs. They perform better when they're lubricated. All right, one foot going forward, one foot going back. And moving to our hands and knees. So for me, I'm going to remove my blanket. Thank you very much. Move it over here. And I'm going to do a little bit from my bendy toes. I am pleased that I now have function in my knee, but you may not, so there are some variations. So when you come to all fours with your toes turned under and you begin to back your hips up, if that's too much compression on your knee, maybe what you do is lift your hips up so you can lean back into the balls of the feet and the knees don't compress so much. But given that I have this newfound freedom, I'm going to mindfully walk back, not taking anything for granted. This I used to be able to do easily, and then it went away, and now it's back. Some of you may even want to put your hands back on the floor. My blocks just happen to be here. This is all about your toes. I understand that sometimes things in your feet don't work as they used to. So if you need to come out of this pose, feel free to do so. Otherwise, take a couple breaths. And as I slowly return forward, I'm going to come down on my forearms and let my feet relax. So I probably should move my blocks off to the side so I don't inadvertently kick them. Make sure of your space. Nobody wants to stub a toe on something they forgot was there. So you come onto your forearms, anchoring those shoulders, kind of feeling a bit of this inversion. So if this is a bit much for your knees, remember you can always put a towel or blanket or double up your mat. I happen to be on carpet here, so I get extra padding. So let's pick a leg, it doesn't matter which one, as we'll do both, and slide one leg back. So the leg that has gone back, come up to that hip and feel the hip drop and lift. Last week we worked on some hip rotation where we moved our leg around bent, but this is the same thing, dropping the hip, lifting the hip. Now find the hip so that it's pointing evenly with its other side. And then you're gonna lift that leg up as high as you feel you can. Maybe flex the foot. This would be like a modified downward dog into three-legged dog, yes? Sliding that lifted leg's knee forward, bringing it forward, asymmetrical child's pose. So I have the one knee move forward of the other, and now my hips will move back, pushing into my hands as I'll let my knees allow. And if my knee don't allow, I'll just leave my hips up. So asymmetrical child's pose just stretches us down one side more than the other. Come back to your forearms, return both knees adjacent to one another, and slide your other leg back. Open the hip and drop the hip. Understanding the two extremes, we don't want it opened up all the way, but we also don't want it dropped down so our pelvis is uneven. So find that evenness, anchor your shoulders, raise that leg as high as you feel you can, and breathe. Gently bringing that high leg down and the knee coming a bit forward of the other knee, setting the leg down, and then backing your hips up, pushing with your hands, asymmetrical child's pose. It's weird when you stretch down each individual side. Slowly returning up, this time onto your hands and knees. And if the palms don't work for you, then you can do knuckles with your thumbs forward. So I'm going to do the cat and the cow. So I'll be fully working my spine. You're welcome to just go at it, but I'm going to start a little and grow it. So I'm going to work progressively from a small cat and cow to see how my back is feeling today. But if you feel comfortable in just going for it, just go for it. So you initiate with the exhalation, so drawing that belly button up and slowly bowing the head down. And then when you breathe in, lifting the tailbone up, taking your focus forward. Following that breath into the cat pose. And lifting and arching into the cow pose. Following the breath. Noticing how the spine feels as it rounds, as it arches. Pausing in that neutral position, turning those bendy toes under, a little hula, so a little extra for your sacrum, and going the other way. Bringing yourself up so that we go into opening the front of our hips. Now here's where I would like my blocks, but they're over there. So maybe I will turn myself around. If you didn't have blocks or didn't want to use blocks, when you put one foot forward, you wiggle it forward past your knee, bring your hands down, get off your back knee, and then replace it as you allow the weight of your hips to draw down. If you have the blocks, it just keeps you a little bit higher. And then if you wanted to go down, you can rest on your blocks. So the intention is that your front knee doesn't overshoot your foot. You can relax the back leg. So this is a passive move. Hang with your breath and feel the front of the leg, of the one that's behind you, sinking. Engage through your core as you slowly back your hips up, turning your back foot in. As you rise up, I'm going to use my blocks, but I'm going to show you, if you don't have blocks, how to do this. I turn my back foot in, I have a little more balance. If you say, I cannot be on my knees, you will then, if you were here doing this stretch, you will lift up your hips, walk your feet together, put one foot forward, and back your hips up to open the back of the leg. For those of us who can bear weight on our knees, we come up, extend the leg, just like the standing version, Uttanasana, or forward fold with the heart, and either put the hands on the thigh, maintaining your neutral spine without rounding, or putting your hands on your blocks, should you have such things. And we lead with the heart, not with the head, and say, good morning, hamstrings. Slowly drawing your spine upward, bringing that front leg back and returning to both knees. Stepping your other foot forward and moving that foot so that it goes beyond the knee, because that way when your body goes forward, and rather than staying on that back knee, which can be problematic, you can be up in the low lunge, or you can set the knee down as it suits you. And if you didn't have blocks, your hands could be here, or you could be the person inside. This is just to open the front of the leg behind us. Maybe a cooling breath. Mindful of your bandhas, slowly back your hips up. Those who want to stand, go ahead, stand up. Those of us who are on our knee, turn that back foot in. Make the spines tall and the hips and chest forward as we Uttanasana without the use of blocks. Your hands are on your thigh. Ooh, this leg feels tight. Or you put your hands on blocks. So knowing that this hamstring group of muscles connects from your knee to your pelvis, if your tailbone tucks under, you may go further forward, but not with the hamstring stretch. So you want to, like a cat and cow, stick out your bum so it points outward, and you may not go as far forward, but it will be more true for your hamstring. So again, it's often different on one leg, or one arm, or one side. We're going to come to a standing position, so on your own terms, return, and without using your hands, bring yourself to stand all the way up. So I'm going to turn and face you. You can be wherever you are so we can still see one another. So we're going to do a little bit more for the feet, and then we'll do a standing balance pose, 3-point balance pose today. My feet are parallel. I established Tadasana, or mountain pose. I know it doesn't seem like much, but if I could just reiterate again that the mountain pose is the foundation for the best posture ever. So when you go for your annual exams, they won't say, oh, you've lost a little bit of height, because you will learn to stand properly. So as you root your feet, engage your inner thighs, could draw in or push out, address the Mula Bandha, address the Uddiyana action. Some of us tend to sink into hips, some of us tend to round forward. So visualize your spine, making that natural curve, lifting through the crown of the head. And then I even think importantly, the fingers reach to the earth, palms in or anatomically forward. It doesn't make your shoulders go back, so just that natural position. And take in how this feels. So this is our natural position, and the more often you can stand in it in the course of your day, your week, your month, your year, the better your body will live. Otherwise, you're creating your own problems. As we inhale, raise the arms up, join the palms, and place the hands at your heart. Without looking at the feet, but knowing there are the pads at the base of each one of our toes, we're going to alternate lifting the heel of one foot, putting it down, and lifting the heel of the other foot. Now here's the thing. What tends to happen is there's a shifting as you do this. So we've already established that amazing Tadasana. Try and maintain it without shifting. So I'm not going to shift from one side to the other. I'm going to try and mindfully hold my torso steady as the weight shifts from foot to foot. This is a useful mindset for some of our balance poses. Not letting our body shift, but finding the wherewithal to stay steady, even on rough seas. So let's hold one foot up, whatever heel is up, put that arm in front, doesn't have to be the same as mine. You're going to put a little bit of weight onto that foot as you raise the other heel up. We are in the awkward pose. This is what it looks like from the side. Depending on how your knees feel, you can stay here or you can go a little lower. If it feels wobbly, it's supposed to. Find your breath, hold the heels up. Address your bandhas. Here's my cooling breath. And the body weave. Drop your heels, drop your arms, push the pelvis forward. Let the hands come from behind gently, drawing all the way up with the arms coming together, and hands pause at your heart. 3-point balance, one of the simplest balances, but it has elements that will challenge you if you choose them. You're going to stand, if you're mirroring me, on your left leg, and you're going to bend the right heel up, pretty much like we did just a moment ago. Careful you didn't sink into that standing leg such that your hip pushes out, that you're pulling up on your standing left leg and bending the right knee. Now, if your balance is feeling a little off for whatever reason, you're going to just tap the toe in front. So it's touching, but it's just not doing much to support you. If you feel your balance is happening today and you want to move forward, you're going to pick up the right foot, flexing the foot. Again, feeling that your hips are even, that you haven't tipped yourself off balance anyway. Bandhas and breath. Moving forward. Right knee up, right arm over, left arm to the side. And that last little bit of challenge would be to look down your left arm or look down that arm. That may or may not be available, so with foot on floor or not on floor, and breathing. Hold on to Tadasana. Keep breathing, look forward, hands back to your heart, stand on 2 feet, and that feels good. It's like coming home. Everything just kind of goes back to its usual place. Establish your Tadasana, and now root down on your right leg as you raise the left heel, ever so attentively, leaving the tapping of the toe or the lifting of the leg, evening of the hips. Left leg up, left arm forward, right arm side. You can continue looking forward, that's fine. Or you can look down the right hand. That's crazy. And we breathe. Pull up, pull up. Returning your focus center and your hands at your heart, and the foot comes down and you just feel things melting. That's a good part of yoga, right? All right, do a little breaststroke motion as the hands grab behind, and you have the option of grabbing the hands or lacing the fingers, and even more challenging that is closing the palms. Stepping your feet to, if you were on the facing the short end, your feet are as wide as the mat. I'm on the long end, but I'm going to replicate. You feel your toes are slightly veered in so that your pinky toe and your heel are parallel with the edges of the mat. Straightening the arms behind you, it artificially pulls your shoulders back. I was here, then my shoulders went back. So I'm going into Uttanasana. We'll do this a few times, so don't feel like you have to go really fast when we come up. We're going to pay attention to our blood pressure, right? So inhale, lift up your heart. Exhale, hinge forward. Lean into your toes as you bow over. Hands come off your back. Look toward the floor or through your legs. Imagine a big pillow between the legs as you squeeze the pillow and draw yourself up. Careful with your blood pressure, A. Eventually you're up, and we're going to widen our stance. So it doesn't matter whether you're on the mat or now you're off the mat, but move your feet out a little bit. Still parallel, Mula Bandha, Mula Bandha, Mula Bandha. Inhale, lift your chest, hands come a little bit maybe off your back if you can. Exhale, Uttanasana, lean into your toes, either looking to the floor or looking through your legs. Cooling breath perhaps. Squeezing the pillow and mindfully rising, taking as much time as you need to address. And once more, I want you to open your feet a little bit wider. Just make sure you feel that you're, if you need to turn to be on your sticky mat, that you're not sliding. Nobody needs to do the splits today. Though I was subbing a class yesterday, and at the end of the class, this girl just did the splits because she could, and it was a good time to her to do it at the end of class. All right, Mula Bandha, Mula Bandha. Inhale, lift the arms up off the back. I'm changing my hand grip. Exhale, forward fold, lean into your toes. Breathing, cooling breath or otherwise. This time, Release your hands first, put them down in front of you. Bend your right knee, and if your hands don't go to the floor, put them on your right thigh as you bend the right knee. Your hands may come to the floor. As you drop the hips, you're going to feel that straight leg, probably your left leg, inner thigh open. Walk your hands either across the mat or come up on your thighs as now you bend the other leg. Hips are back, hands are down. Inner thigh of your extended leg. Let's go back and do the first side one more time. So either walk across or rest on your thigh. Drop the hips. Bandhas in breath. One more time. Are they different each leg? Yes, usually they are. Returning center. Heel and toe your feet toward one another. Bend the knees, put the hands on the thighs. Very mindfully stack your vertebra as you rise. Squeezing, lifting, returning to Tadasana. Okay, so we're kind of well lubricated, methinks. So we're going to do the little challenging part, and this is a lot of core and a lot of shoulder strength. And remember earlier I showed you what you could do on your forearms. The only difference is when you're on the forearms, you're going to raise the leg and bring the knee just down to the floor. And you can either stay in this three-legged dog, or if you needed to come to the knees like we did earlier, you now have some options. Otherwise, we'll do it like we normally would in downward dog. Step to the end of your mat. This repeats. One side, then the other. Find your mountain pose, Tadasana. Lift the arms when you breathe in. Bend the knees and touch the earth when you breathe out. Lift your chest and drop the hips as you breathe in. Find downward facing dog as you walk back. Stand on your left foot, lift up the right leg. Remember, you can be on your forearms. When you breathe out, bring the right knee toward the right elbow and look up. Push back, three-legged dog. Move the right knee toward the right elbow. Breathe out. Maybe suck on a straw. Bring the knee to the right elbow. Push back. Do it again. Right knee, right elbow. Same knee, same elbow. And push back. Last time, knee to elbow. Now stay in either the three-legged dog or downward dog or child's pose. Everyone to downward dog so that we may do the other side. Stand on your right foot, lift up your left leg. Suck on your straw. As you breathe out, bring the left knee up to your left elbow, look forward, and push back. Breathe in. Left knee, left elbow, look forward. Push back. Again, knee to elbow. Push back. Two more. Push back. Last time. Stay in your three-legged dog, downward dog, or child's pose where we'll go momentarily. Everyone to down dog, knees down, easy child's pose. Remember, you can use puppy dog. So feel the warmth, the heat that you've generated. We're going to go to some cooling poses. We'll come back and do the energizing again, but in a different way. So you're going to go onto your back, make your way to your back. If you had a block or a towel, bring it and put it between your knees. And the way you put it between your knees is whatever is comfortable. So I wouldn't necessarily put it wide, that makes my knees open. So, you know, you could play with putting it or just wad a towel up so it goes between. And then you can rest your head down. So you have this block that kind of requires you squeeze your inner thighs, which lends protection to your low back. So I'm going to let the legs go up. They may or may not go straight. And then I'll lower my legs, not necessarily all the way, and come back up. So abundance and breath. Breathing out when the legs go down. Breathing in when the legs come up, a nice easy pace. Nothing too fast in either direction. So this time you're going to remove the block or the towel and set your feet down and rest. If you didn't have a towel or a blanket, it's okay. You just want to think that you're squeezing something. So this one repeats, dropping your knees to one side. So I return the block. This is what I do if people can't hold their legs together. I make them put a block between their legs. So the knees can be bent or the legs can be straight. Straighter legs makes it harder. Your arms go out to the side. If you turned your palms up and then rolled your palms down, you see my arms are not up by my shoulder, they're a little below my shoulder, and that will help you. You're going to lift the hips up, bringing the legs towards you, bringing the knees down toward the corresponding elbow. So you feel the knees touch the elbow, yes? Come back up with your tailbone up, and then lower the tailbone down. Now we're going to do that same side again. Raise the tailbone as the legs come towards you. Lower your legs toward that arm on the floor. Raise the legs back up with your knees coming to your chest and lowering the tailbone down. Keep repeating. Twice more this side. So the bum comes up, the knees fall over, the knees come up, the hips go down. Keep breathing. Last time. Raise the hips, lower the legs, and up, and remove the block. So we are going to do the other side, but excuse me while I turn around because I can't drop my knees because of the fireplace. You always accommodate for your space as well, don't you? All right, we're going to do the other side of the knee drop. So you have that block between your legs. Knees could be bent, a little more challenging, make your legs straight. Arms to the side, you go out with your palms up, then when you roll the palms down, your arms end up below your shoulders, making it easier for the knees to find your arms, eh? So inhale, raise up your hips. Exhale, holding that block between your legs. Knees come down to touch the arms. Coming back up the knees towards your chest, and then release the tailbone down. We repeat. We have 2 more times to lift the hips and lower the legs. Last time. And remove your block as the feet come down. So before we go back and do a little more vigorous stuff, if you have a block or a towel, you're going to elevate the hips so you come off the mat, and you're going to seductively slide that block. So if you have a block, it's going to be the lowest side, not the medium and not the tall side. So you want the lowest side. It's positioned not in your back and not on your bum, but in the sacrum. So you'll know it's just the perfect spot for you to take a restorative bridge pose. So the feet are parallel, the arms by the side, or you may want to float your arms overhead. Maybe a cooling breath. So you're gonna bring your hands down if they're up over your head. Press into your feet to gently lift the hips, slide the towel or the block out, and then lower your spine down. Either roll to your side to come up. Some people might want to pick up their knees and roll themselves up this way. So we come to stand up. Oh, how should we do that? I don't know. Up to you. Try not to use your hands. Let's just see if I can do this. I can do that. Great. Are you up? Didn't use your hands? Well done. So this time we do that same series of going into the 3-legged dog. So if I were to show you with the forearms, you're going to try and draw the knee under. The forearms is really hard to do that. There just isn't the space. So I would say if you had blocks and you put them on the flat side and you put your forearms on it, it will help you create some space. So if I did for my knees, here's my leg up and here's my knee coming under. So the knee is going under my belly toward the opposite block. That would be if I wanted to really modify. If I wanted to be in like a dolphin, raising up, going under. And then the other one is the one I'll do, the downward dog with the knee coming under. That just gives you a little more space. If you had a chair and wanted to put your hand on the chair, that's also a little bit easier. So we step to the front of our mat. If you're going to use the blocks, just stay on the mat. We'll be with you shortly. Everyone establish Tadasana. Arms will rise. Then we fold. Lift your chest, drop your hips, walk into downward dog. So now everybody's in some position, a down dog or dolphin. Stand on your left leg, lift up your right leg, that's your breath in. Draw the knee under the body to the opposite side arm and push back up. Again, underneath. Let's do one more. So you can stay in the 3-legged dog, downward dog, child's pose as you wish. Downward dog. We do the other side. When ready, raise the left arm, left leg, bring it under your body to the right arm. We have one more. And then we stay in the three-legged dog or the downward dog as you wish. Both feet down, both knees down. Everyone come to child's pose. Yay. Okay, so we're going to do some pigeon pose today. I know that's not appropriate for everyone, so you know the alternatives. There's plenty of alternatives. Laying on the back, doing the pretzel pose or figure four is the most common because that way your back is protected and you can move your hips into a position that allows you to get a little hip but not to tweak your knee. If you're going to use the traditional, one of the things you can do is using a blanket or a towel to fill the gap. You've seen me do this before, so when I get to a plank, I'm going to place my front leg across so that my knee is on one side and my foot is on the other side. Let me quickly show you as you get your props as you might want them. So I bring my foot up, and here's my knee on this side, and here's my foot on that side. This hip drops down, and because I'm sitting on the blanket, I don't feel the pressure on my knee. Once I'm lifted up, I could even work to stay here in the king pigeon, or I could walk my hands forward and bow myself down to create more opening through the hip. If you don't need this or don't want to, you can always take a towel and just shove it under the hip of the leg that's in front. If you'd rather lay on your back and do this, it's the same thing, right? If you straighten up your leg, flip me over, I'm in the pigeon pose. So there's some options that you can pick from. So get your toys. If you're going to do the pigeon with me, you're going to draw one leg forward, place it in front so your hip is supported. For those here, see if you can come up and use your spine muscles. Some people do this. Some people bend their back knee, reach over their head and hold the foot. Yeah, you just go ahead. Now I'm going to walk my hands forward, feeling my spine lengthen, not just lay down. So I'm bringing my heart out. And at some point you may say, ooh, this is more than I want to do. If you had a block or a pillow nearby, you could rest on it. If you were the person that said, I can go all the way out, if you extended your spine, use your hands, walk yourself up. Now there's a couple ways to come out of the pigeon pose. If you're on your back, you're just going to relax both feet down momentarily. I've turned my back foot under, and then I push up on my hands and my back leg so I can pick up that front foot and move it away. Now I'm going to bring the other leg up. And so the knee is, can you see the knee's on one side, the foot's on the other side? My hip is sitting on a blanket or a towel, and you lift nice and tall. Remember, if you're laying on your back, you can kind of lean to one side, and that will give you a little more hip opening. Now for those on the pigeon pose, you can walk forward, lead with your heart, not with your head, and go to the point where that hip said, I'm good. You don't need to force the issue. Cooling breath, anyone? For those in pigeon who extended, now bring yourself back up. Load into your hands, turn the back toe under, pick up that front leg. And if you have a blanket or a towel, go ahead and move it off. We're going to lay on our side. If you need to move your mat, that's fine. So this is a dynamic move, and we'll do it simply with the knees bent. So we have one shoulder and elbow stacked one over the other. The forearm is pressing down, so I'm not rocking back. And my knees are stacked and my feet are stacked, so not slip sliding. The other hand has nothing to do. It's going to round and reach under my body when I breathe out, and then open the arm, and the option becomes to raise the hips when I reach the arm up, lower the hips and reach under when I breathe out. Maintain the alignment of shoulder and elbow as best you can. Are you breathing? Now this one, stay up at the top. Option is to raise the top leg. It's a ta-da moment, ta-da. Feeling the work of your hips, lowering your leg, lowering your arms, pausing to switch to the other side. So you can roll over, but then maybe you wouldn't see me, so it might be better to go to the other side like I'm gonna do. So again, elbow, shoulder stacked, knees forward of your hips together. So when you're down, you're dropping under, so that's a spiral rotation for the shoulders and upper back, and then you raise up. The option is to lift the hips. If that just doesn't work for you, skip that part. So you're breathing out when you go down and breathing in as you rise up. I'm going to do one more. Once I get up, I'm going to lift my top leg as an option and have my ta-da moment, feeling my hips work. Pull out of your elbow, out of your shoulder, and release everything. Come to sit. If you have a wall or something behind you that you can prop yourself up with, go ahead and do that. If not, just sit on a blanket. It will make it a little easier. I'm going to keep these blocks behind me. This is a little hard. So this is my wall. So I have my legs extended in front. You see my feet up there. Reach in and move your buns away. So I know I could tell you, reach forward for your feet, and most likely you would round over and stretch your arms and pull into your lumbar. So this is that hinge motion. If you were to hinge, you would be like this, not like this. So we lead with our heart. Now, because if you had a wall or something behind you, you could use your hands to push away while maintaining that chest lift. If you don't have something behind you, that's okay. You're sitting on a blanket or something, use your hands to push forward. You just get a little bit more out of the wall, methinks. The legs will want to relax out. You hold them up. We've already opened the hamstrings, so this should go pretty well for us. So put your hands behind on the floor or on the wall, and then push your chest forward. So you can imagine that if you laid down, where would your face be? It wouldn't be on your knees, right? That's down here. If I were to lay down, my face would come more toward my shins. So if you were to think about reaching for your foot, and this is where straps or towels can come in, because you want to maintain that straight spine, you could reach for the tops of the toes or around the side and maintain that lifted heart. Now, as you lower your heart, your face may or may not, mine rarely does, come toward my shins. If you prefer keeping your hands behind you, this may be your best place to be supported. Slowly release, bringing your spine up nice and tall. Fold in your right leg. It can stay right here, or it can go across your other leg. We're just going to do a little turn toward the wall. So hold on with the opposite hand. The other hand doesn't go behind you, it's just to your side. Turn your shoulder back and just look to the wall behind you. Pulling that knee in. Nice big breath. Not too hard. Return center, slide that leg out, pull this leg in. Hold on to it, hand down. Are you nice and tall? Look off and around. And return center. So we can put our feet up the wall, with our feet at the wall. We did this with the chair last week, or you could do it on your mat. And if you had blocks or a box, a sturdy box, you could put your feet on them, or if you wanted, you could put your hips on a block, perhaps on the taller side. So you either go, if this were my wall, put my bum on the wall and put my feet up the wall so that when I bend the knees, I can elevate my hips. Here's the option if you have something to put your feet upon. Laying down, so if I were laying with my feet at the wall, this would be this, then I bend the knees and I push on my feet and up goes my hips. If I don't have a wall, I can elevate my feet by being on my blocks this way into a bridge pose. And if I wanted to do a mock shoulder stand, I would take a block instead of the calming bridge pose, restorative bridge pose. I'll put it a little bit higher, hold it, make sure I feel safe as I pick my knees up and elevate my legs. So just a moment of inversion, either putting your legs on the wall, you can put your feet and then elevate your hips on the block, or here I am safely resting on my yoga block. Cooling breath. If your feet are at the wall, instead of pushing on them, go ahead and let them be up the walls. If you're on a block with me, you're going to bend the knees, returning your feet to the floor, sliding the block out. Eventually, we all have our backs down. And then we'll move ourselves to our sides, and push ourselves up. So we're going to move on to our bellies and finish with an opening of the front side of our body. If being on your bellies doesn't suit you, you may want a little hand towel and use your side. So here's the side option. Laying down, knees forward, grab down, heel to bum, lean forward, pull the leg back. That's a fair option. For those who can be on the belly, it's the same thing. Laying down, reaching for your foot, drawing the heel towards your bum. If you're on the mat, the thing is the hip pushing into the mat will open more, knowing that this quad group of muscles attaches at the front of your hip and down at your knee. So you want both ends to move away. So you can do it by laying on your side, maybe with a little arm extender, or you can do it on the belly. So you'll take a few breaths on each leg. If you haven't already, time to do the other leg. If you're on your side, release your leg. We're all going to come to our belly, and we're going to stretch the arms in front of us and have our legs straight behind us. If you need a towel or something under your forehead, put it under your forehead. So the thing with the shoulders, the arms need to be really straight, not bent. Now that can be uncomfortable given a shoulder issue. So if you need to bend the elbows, yes. If you don't need to, challenge yourself by putting the arms out straight. May I mention the bandhas and breath? Walking your hands back along your side, leaving your knees down, but picking up your hips a little bit, keeping those hips up with your elbows in. Slowly raise the chest and right on into your child's pose. Now I invite you to move yourself into Shavasana position. Could be laying on your back in that traditional corpse pose, removing any accoutrements in your hair or glasses. The corpse pose has the feet apart, the arms by the side, just like a corpse would lay. You could have a blanket or towel under your knees. You could be on your side. You may want to go back and lay on your belly. There are these variations from which to choose. So now we do nothing. We do nothing as a part of our yoga practice. So we have this vessel that we have been moving around, and now we let that vessel just rest and refill with energy. So you tune into your breath. You feel the weight of your body resting on Mother Earth. You give yourself a few minutes to do nothing. Wait for the singing bowl. Let this time be yours. So we deepen the breath. We wiggle our fingers and toes. We bring a little energy back into that body, maybe doing some cooling breaths. And I flip back to January for these thoughts for us. Annie Dillard wrote about day by day. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Next week, next month, next summer, that's when the good times will come. But right now, we're just trying to get through today and maybe tomorrow, and with luck, the day after that. Let's not miss our lives while they're happening. We can make choices about what we want to do right this moment. Sure, the garbage still needs to be taken out and work has to be done, but even in the rush of every day, we can take time to appreciate what we have. Our thought then for us today, I'll give myself a few minutes to appreciate a beautiful sunrise, the comfort of my warm bed, the sheer joy of a baby's laugh, or even the pleasure of solitude, whatever my life holds for me today. So with that said, bring yourself to a seated position. With your bandhas in your breath and your bodily awareness that comes from a practice of yoga, we stretch the arms to the side. We join them together at our heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. So enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it may bring, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Namaste.